When we look at the sea, we may see the waves, some seaweed and some seagulls. If we look out far enough, we can see where the sea meets the sky at the horizon. However, under the surface of the sea, a whole different world is hiding from us. You might know about some of the fishes and the dolphins and whales, but there are many, many more creatures that most of us have never seen or even heard of. Some live on the ocean floor. Some swim so fast they can even jump out of the waves. Some spend their whole lives stuck to a rock. Let me introduce you to Sally. Sally is quite young and looks like a see-through jelly bean. To say that Sally swims in the sea would not be exactly accurate. To move around, Sally has to swallow water through her mouth and blow it out gently to push her in the direction she wants to go. Sally is not a fast mover. The fish will usually whiz by ignoring her. Other slow-moving creatures can be quite graceful, such as turtles and jellyfish. Occasionally, a graceful whale will swim by. Sally really enjoys watching these majestic animals. She has to be careful though, because sometimes they come to the surface of the sea and blow air out of their blowholes. This creates a stir in the sea that makes Sally bobble around out of control. A very disturbing experience. One day, Sally met with her friend, a sea squirt called Great Aunt Nellie. Great Aunt Nellie lived attached to a piece of coral. Older sea squirts will always settle down on or near the sea floor. She enjoyed meeting any youngsters that would listen, and she'd pass on much wisdom and many stories about the things she had seen and heard. Sally listened, all wide-eyed, to the wise old sea squirt as she was told about how the waters were getting warmer and warmer. This meant that many sea creatures that she had never seen before were now swimming in the sea where Sally lived. Great Aunt Nellie also told her about strange stuff that looked like seaweed but could make creatures very ill if they ate it. It could even trap creatures so they couldn't move. Humans called it plastic. When Great Aunt Nellie had stopped talking, Sally saw something red out of the corner of her eye, waving in the water. What was that? There it was again. Quite distracted, Sally tried to get a better look at the new red, whatever it was. Sally looked at Great Aunt Nellie, and Great Aunt Nellie looked back at Sally. Then they both looked at the red creature with wide eyes. Hello, said Sally. Hola, said the creature. Do you like my dancing? Sally was still very surprised and did not know what to say. Great Aunt Nellie replied, Oh yes, your dancing is lovely. In fact, it is quite beautiful. The red creature wiggled proudly and said, I am dancing the flamenco, as I am Juanita, a Spanish dancer. I normally live a long way south, but the water there is getting too warm, so I decided to move to cooler waters. Oh, said Sally, we were just talking about that, but we didn't expect to have visitors this soon. Sally and Great Aunt Nellie introduced themselves, and Juanita invited them to join in a dance. A day went by, and then another, while Juanita told Sally about her home and her friends in the sea far away. Sally tried to learn Juanita's dance. It was really quite tricky. After a few days, Juanita had to dance away to find somewhere she could make a new home for herself. A few days later, the sun was shining down through the water. It was a great day to play. Now that Juanita was not around, Sally had to find someone else to play with. From the corner of her eye, she saw the sun's rays glinting on what looked like a long, wavy creature coming in her direction. It looked really beautiful and was making waves in the sea's current. Sally had never seen this creature before, but as it came closer, she thought it looked familiar. She felt that she should know what it was, but she didn't know why. The creature saw Sally and asked her to join in. It explained that it was not just one creature, but a lot of individual creatures just like Sally. Together, they could join up in a chain. The creature at the end of the line, the one that was talking to Sally, was called Sarah. Sarah explained that each of the creatures had their own name. Sally was normally very shy, but this looked wonderful. She wanted to be part of the chain. She looked across at Great Aunt Nellie, who nodded and smiled at her. This was such a great chance to join in with these strange yet familiar new friends. Sarah could see that Sally didn't know how to join in, so she showed Sally how to join the chain, and off they went. Sally discovered that as part of the merry chain, she now had a ready-made group of friends. She could speak to all the others just by thinking. They could all act as one. Much to Sally's surprise, she learned that these creatures were called salps, and she was one of them. Sally loved this new experience. Although she had no arms and no legs, indeed, no fine fins or swishy tail, Sally felt that she had a wonderful and very special talent. One day, soon after this, Sally was swimming in the sea with her new friends. They were trying to see what different shapes they could make with the chain. Nearby, she saw a flash of familiar red. It was Juanita, but something seemed very strange about the way she was moving. As Juanita got closer, Sally and her friends could see that there was something around Juanita's body that made it difficult for her to dance. Sally called over to her. "Oh no, Juanita, are you stuck? What can we do to help you?" Juanita replied, "I saw this pretty decoration and wanted to put it on. Now I can't take it off. Please, can you help me?" Sally and her friends put their minds to work. Each of them on their own could not do anything to help, but together they could give it a good try. They thought and thought, trying out different shapes. Then they all remembered a special shape that they could make to try to blow the necklace of plastic off Juanita. Sally was on one end, and she let the others make a spiral around her. They all blew, but all they got was bubbles. That wasn't enough, so they each drew in as much water as they could. Then they counted to 3. 1, 2, 3, and they blew together as hard as they could towards Juanita. All this water just blew Juanita away, so Sally thought to the others, "What if Juanita holds onto a piece of coral and we try again?" So they asked Juanita to hold on while Sally and her friends counted. 1, 2, 3, and they blew again. "Hooray!" they all said together. The plastic had been blown away from Juanita and she was free to dance again. A nearby seal had been watching curiously as there were so many bubbles. It picked up the plastic in its mouth and swam towards the nearby beach. While the Salps and Juanita were celebrating, a young boy called David was out on the beach. He was walking with his sister Anna. David stopped suddenly, making Anna bump into him. Before Anna could say anything, David pointed at a seal coming out of the sea with some plastic in its mouth. The seal carried on walking towards the surprised children. Placed the plastic gently at David's feet and looked at the children with its large black eyes. They were so amazed that they couldn't say anything. The seal stayed with them for a while. It looked first at David and then at Anna, trying to make them understand what it wanted. When it was satisfied, the seal turned around and went back to the sea. David quietly picked up the piece of plastic and took it to the bin in the car park. He turned around to see that the seal's head was sticking above the waves and looking at him. He wasn't sure, but had the seal winked at him before disappearing under the waves?